I tried speed dating on Bumble twice, and it was just not for me. Welcome to the Date with Confidence podcast, a place to come for dating advice, support, and stories that'll either fill you with hope or relief that your dating experience wasn't as bad as it could have been, with practical episodes that'll provide you with easy to implement tips to help you feel confident AF on your next date, alongside lighthearted catch-ups where your host Rebecca, that's me by the way, shares her own experience dating after 4 years of the single life. You are guaranteed to end each episode feeling less alone in your dating struggles, empowered to never settle again, and confident that the best is yet to come. And if it all falls to shit, there's a special first season dedicated to breakups. You are welcome, my friend. Subscribe, review, and share with your single friends. So I've always wanted to go speed dating. I've always wanted to go speed dating in real life. It looks like a lot of fun, but it's just never happened. I kind of don't want to go on my own. So I need to go with a friend, but I don't know, and I've not really got any friends that would be up for going or that are into going, because most friends are just like, oh, it's so like ridiculous, it's not going to be any good, it's just going to be idiots that go. And I'm like, yeah, but it'll be funny, like it would be a funny experience. But then one of my friends was telling me about speed dating on Bumble. So a few weeks ago now, probably a couple of months ago now, on a Sunday, it happens on a Sunday night, I think it might happen more than once a week, but I went on a Sunday night. I signed myself up and I got started. And this was a few days after I'd been dating someone for a few weeks. They'd called it off. Back for the, like, this is the Am I Delusional guy. He'd called it off, and I was eager to get myself back out there on the dating scene as quick as possible. I'd already been speaking to some other people. I already had a date with one guy booked in, and I was like, you know what, speed dating, I'll get to match with a lot of people, have good crack, get to know as many people as possible, I guess, within an hour. And I wanted to, if you've listened to the How to Handle Rejection episode, you'll know that I wanted to stop myself from spiraling into that space of no one's ever going to want me again. And to do that, I thought speed dating would help. I thought it might give me a bit of a confidence boost and remind me how many people there are out there just waiting to meet me. Not so much like waiting to meet me, but just give me that reminder of there are so many more opportunities and possibilities and fish in the sea. There are so many more people out there, and that my whole life now isn't over, my whole dating life now isn't over just because this one guy changed his mind after a few weeks. My confidence had been bruised by that experience a little bit. I mean, not a lot, because I'm very good at shifting quickly now when it comes to having my confidence knocked. But the truth is, although my confidence had been bruised, but I still felt pretty confident in myself because that's just who I am, the speed dating actually made me feel worse. So whilst I'd gone onto it thinking, this is going to make me feel better, almost that like temporary, like this will just give me a bit of a boost, it'll be nice, it'll be fun, it's not too serious, I can just have good crack with people, it actually, like it just made me feel worse. It made me feel bad about myself. And I don't like things that make me feel bad about myself. I don't like it. I'm not here for it. I'm not available for it. I don't subscribe to things that make me feel negative about who I am, because I've put in a lot of work over the last 12, 13 years to get me to a place where I love and accept myself and adore myself for who I am. That anytime something happens or an experience or a thing or a person detracts from this newfound self-love I have, I'm just not here for it. It's not for me. I'm not the one. So just to give you a quick overview, if you've never done speed dating on Bumble, this is how it works. You get matched with someone, so you don't see their profile, you don't see their name, you don't see their age, pictures, anything. You literally just get matched with someone. It's the first letter of their name and then lots of stars. So you get matched with them, you talk for 3 minutes, and then they show you the profile of the person that you've been talking to after those 3 minutes, so that you can decide whether you want to keep speaking again, or keep speaking with them, or whether you are just not interested at all. Now, for me, And I'll actually compare this because I've done the speed dating twice. So I did it the first time, the week that I was rejected by the delusional guy. And then the second time I did it was a month later when I was feeling really good about myself anyway. And also, actually, I was feeling really good about myself, but I'd had a date that had been cancelled that same day. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to fill my evening with sitting around doing nothing. I'm going to fill my evening with chatting to lots of other guys to, again, remind myself of the possibilities and all the people are out there. And I was in a much better headspace when I did it the second time. But the first time I did it, I was in a bit of a dangerous situation in terms of how I was feeling mentally. So I was already feeling rejected. And when I'd had the 3-minute speed date with someone and they didn't choose to match with me, I felt even more rejected. Especially because you get rejected based on your profile image. So at the end of the chat, it comes up with a picture of the people and then you either tick or cross. So I was already feeling low, I was already feeling rejected, and then people who weren't matching with me, it just made me feel more rejected, and it made it feel like because of how I look. And even people that I didn't want to match with because the chat had been shocking, I still felt rejected by them, which is crazy, but it is what it is. So I'm very aware of how rejection makes me feel now. So I was able to coach myself through that, and I was able to remind myself that it wasn't a personal thing, just like me not matching with other guys wasn't a personal thing either. And if you are someone that struggles with rejection, then do go back and listen to the episode on how to handle rejection when you are dating, because I think there'll be some really valuable tips in there for you. But I reminded myself, it's not about me. It's not because I'm not good enough. There just wasn't a connection, and that's absolutely fine. That's what dating is, deciding whether there is a connection or there isn't a connection. Just because I didn't match with someone doesn't mean that they're not enough. They're just not my person. So after 5 or 6 chats, I left the speed dating. The chats are boring. It was the same thing. I'm not into small talk. I'm not into shit chat. I'm not here for it. Like I like genuine conversations where someone's engaging or asking you decent questions, or you can dive into a topic straight away and get lost in like 4 or 5 paragraph messages for ages, like back and forth. And I was also very conscious. So when I was doing the speed dating, I was very aware of the rejection feelings that were coming up and of how it was making me feel. And because I was conscious of those feelings, I didn't want to leave myself in a situation that had the potential to make me judge myself or make me feel like I wasn't good enough. So because I already could feel my energy shifting, I could recognize the thoughts that were about to come out, I removed myself from that situation because that was the healthiest thing for me to do. And it also felt really overwhelming. And it made me feel a little bit panicky the first time that I did it, because you just have the 3 minutes to chat to someone and the timer is literally counting down the seconds. It felt like a mad rush of like, oh my God, what do I say? Like, how do I prove that I'm interested to someone? How do I make this chat stand out from everyone else? Like, it felt stressful, and that's just because of the state that I was in. So I left the speed dating. I carried on chatting to a couple of other guys that I'd been speaking to in different apps and on WhatsApp. And I just ignored it for a month. And then the other night, I decided to go back onto the speed dating just to see if it was different. And it was also, it had been marketed as like a 90s speed dating, as like a 90s theme. And I didn't have a chat with anyone about anything 90s. So I don't really understand why that was. And it also wasn't an age thing either, because someone was like, oh, I'm 42, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I was born in 1990 and I'm 32, so I obviously knew that they weren't born in the 90s. So I went back on again, but it was kind of the same thing. Like, the chats were a bit shit. I wasn't overwhelmed this time. I did have better conversations, and I think because I was in the headspace of, I'd already felt like I'd been in a situation where I wasn't respected. I was in like a low bullshit tolerance level. So, you know, when you're just like, I'm not standing for anything. Like, I'm very strong in what I want, in the type of person that I want to be matched with, the type of conversations that I want to have. If you're not it, I'm done. I'm not like worried about offending anyone or hurting someone's feelings or I'm not in that space of, oh, well, I'll match with them just so that I don't make them feel bad. No, I'm very much for myself in this dating era, and I'm happy with that. I'm glad that I've got to this place where my feelings are the most important feelings in the room. That is an important place to be in. So had another few conversations back and forth. There was maybe like 7 or 8. I did it for like, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. And then I was just like, do you know what? I'm bored of this. I can't handle the just shit chats. Like, it's just not for me. So I tried it twice from 2 different headspaces. It wasn't, I didn't enjoy it. But I would still love to go speed dating in real life, because I do think it's different. I think when you're sat opposite someone, you can feel chemistry. You can see someone and you can know whether you're attracted to them. You can feel the way that their energy is, like their mannerisms, the way that they're talking. You can pick up so much more when you're in real life. So I definitely do want to do that at some stage. But I do feel like speed dating on Bumble, or I don't know whether any other apps do it. I know Bumble does, but speed dating on that is something that you have to be in the right headspace for. So it's a no from me for now. Maybe I'll play around at another stage, but not right now. And if you know that you struggle with rejection, I do think that speed dating might not be for you, because even when you're rejecting other people, if you're very sensitive to rejection and they don't match with you, it can trigger a lot. Although there's also the How to Handle Rejection When You're Dating episode that you can go back and listen to, as I've already mentioned once before. They also give it a go. Go to it with an open mind. I think when it comes to dating in general, everything you do needs to be done with an open mind. So just go, see it as something fun, see it as a new experience, a bit of an experiment, which is exactly how I saw it, and see if you like it. You can contribute your stories to the Date with Confidence podcast by heading to datewithconfidencepodcast.com/contribute. I want to know, have you tried Bumble Speed Dating? Do you like it? Have you tried real life speed dating? Tell me your best or worst dating stories, your biggest icks, dating tips that you think everyone should know, or ask me anything about anything, really. Anything dating related, ask me. I'm an open book. Don't forget to check the show notes for resources and courses to help you date with confidence. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Date with Confidence podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Subscribe, rate and review, and share it with your single friends.